Well, hello. Hello, beautiful spirits. Hello, my fellow sensitive people. It is I, Whimsy, your favorite Whimsy. It is a beautiful Tuesday here, and the sun is just coming in over the greatest city in America, Portland, Oregon. And we're going to do some tarot card reading. If you have a chance to like, share, and subscribe, it would be awesome because I'm trying to make it to 150K. That is my goal. All right, let's get into this. The number one discussion right now has to do with Maine candidate for Senate, Graham Platner. I believe I'm pronouncing that name properly. He is in a bit of trouble again. Many people have accused him of all kinds of things: white supremacy, sexism, and now, unfortunately, allegations of SA. So we're going to take a look at that. Also, if he steps down, who's going to be replacing him? Because evidently there are quite a number of people who are up for the job. Troy Jackson seems to be one of the people that's up for the job. That is the former Maine Senate president and gubernatorial candidate, a progressive, and Bernie Sanders endorsed candidate. Interesting, Troy Jackson. Second on the list is Shenna Bellows. Shenna Bellows is the current Secretary of State and gubernatorial candidate. We'll take a look at her. And finally, Nirav Shah. Beautiful name, like that, Nirav Shah. Former Maine CDC director and gubernatorial candidate, also receiving calls. All right, he brings public health and executive experience. May face obstacles with the progressive wing. Wow, sounds rather interesting. So he has until, I believe it is 5 p.m. Monday, July 13th, to decide if he is going to step down, give them time to create a replacement to make sure that the replacement can be on the ballot in Maine. Let's go ahead. We're going to come together, bring our energies together. Feel some good vibes coming together. Be in our clearest heads. Be our best selves. And let's just come together and bring in the empath's prayer. Let's do this together, shall we? Okay, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively as a community, we say Amen. Using these beautiful tarot cards, these are the Rider-Waite, designed by Pamela Coleman Smith. And you can see that beautiful design. I got this particular version of the deck when I was in Cardiff, Wales. A lot of people have commented that they like the background on these, as do I, as do I. Okay, so the first thing we're going to check on has to do with the future of Graham Platner. Are we talking about a resignation, or is he going to fight on? The thing with this type of individual, he appears to be a pretty aggressive individual that, he's definitely wants this. And so when you have somebody that is that aggressive and wants it that badly, it may be nearly impossible to get them to step down. And at that point, what's the Democratic going to do? What are they going to do? Formally expel him? Let's take a look. The future of Graham Platner. This is going to be really interesting. What do you guys think? Do you think he should step down? Do you think that there needs to be more evidence? Do you think that, what do you think's going on here? Okay, where he's at right now. He dreams of taking over the world. That is how the cards, he dreams that this is a man who wants to be king. He wants to be king of the world. His internal self is female. So he may have anger or hostility for women, but he also internally, in some ways, wishes he could be one. This he presents as the queen of cups, pardon me, who dreams of what? The world. This is a female who lives in a world of dreams, dreams about the world. So presents as, I'm the king of the world, I'm the queen of the world. So may want to um, take over the world. That's kind of how it's perceived of this Graham Platner. The other thing his campaign is in full swing. This is the next thing that I see. His campaign is in full swing, and I see that the campaign is busy with people. There's phones ringing. No, he doesn't plan on leaving. No, they're fielding, they're calling. Hi, this is Platner. Plan on voting for him in November. Like, it is full swing. The campaigns are busy answering phones. Eight of Pentacles, mastery. We're on it. His press secretary's on it. His people are there to shield him from these kinds of allegations. That's why you hired him. The campaign manager, the finance person, the people fielding phone calls, the people handling the people that are fielding the phone calls, the canvassers. Everything is this feels to me like it is in full swing, professional, full mode. We got to take Maine. We got to take Maine. We got to take the Senate. We got to take the Senate. We are on it, full on aggressive energy. So he had a fully working at 110%. His campaign was working at 110%, and he had just received massive amounts of money. So this is a guy who not only were they boom, boom, boom with the phone calls and at 110% revving the engines, but the moment this hit was the moment that a major PAC money came through. So the money came through from a major PAC for Graham Platner within days of the allegations. And you can see, here it is, Gabriel brings the coin, a large chunk of money, mastery over the situation, and a large chunk of money. They just received, boom, there's your PAC money coming in. It just cleared. That's to pay for the posters. That's to pay to get for the pizzas for the canvassers, the phone calls that have to make, renting the space, running the ads. A lot of the money is going to go towards ads. Vote for Platner. He's your man, right? So that money, boom, it just came in, a huge chunk of it. So this is what we know right now on the ground that I can tell you as a remote viewer. To bring you to this world with me, which is my job and what you have hired me to do. And this is where I am, in Maine on the ground, and I'm revving at 110%. And a bunch of money has just come in for a major PAC to run our ad campaigns because we're going at full throttle. We got to take Maine. And he's king of the world, queen of the world. So what is above? Six of Cups. He is going to start a grassroots campaign to try and win the voters of Maine, talking individually, one-on-one, at your doorstep. Look at those flowers, lovely lady. Do I look like a man that would ever harm you? You know you love me. You know you want to vote. Now, you don't believe all that silly nonsense now, do you? So Six of Cups comes in, and he's trying to woo the voters. But he has a problem. Sitting in his third house stands the devil. The devil in the third house is addiction. This person presents as having a root. The third house corresponds with the root. It is his root is wickedness. I'm sorry, but I have to read it. It is, I don't, with a less judgmental way of saying it would be, the root being the devil is that this man is highly connected with his root, his second chakra, his first chakra, which is eat or be eaten and sex. It is closely associated with reptilian type energy. May have chosen, he wants to be king of the world, so he said it was a Democrat. Sure, I'll be a Democrat. It doesn't mean he's a Democrat. So, but whatever is going to make him king of the world. But this root, what he's sitting in, this is addiction. This is sex and drugs and rock and roll, right? This is it's addiction, it's hedonism, it's pleasure, it is the first and second chakra. So that's what he sits in. It's also fight or flight. We talk about the reptile, right? The snake, right? We have a snake. We know that the cerebellum and the reptilian complex of the brain and the spinal cord look like a snake, and that is the most primitive parts of the brain development, right? And it's associated with the first and second chakras, right? So if a person is living in that world, if they're living in the world of the first and second chakras, they're going to do anything and everything to have their personal needs met. This is psychopathy, pure and simple. Coming out of a star. He's the star. He was the star. I'm your star. So there was a lot of attention on Maine, and we stand really good chance of finally taking the Senate if we can take this away from Collins. And we're headed towards growth. Major escalation in August. I'm telling you, this guy could be potentially resisting a resignation, because Eight of Wands is the month of August, but Eight of Wands is an aggressive strife card too. It can indicate things happening very quickly. Things could be heating up very quickly, but it's also an aggressive kind of energy. Where he's at right now, going to court. Here is his legal argument. I'm in. I have the feed. You cannot remove him from the ballot because this is the will of the voters of Maine. The voters of Maine have made their decision, and their decision is that they want Graham Platner, and we are ready to go to court to keep him on the ballot because this is the will of the people of Maine. So we have a court case coming. Seventh house stands in court case. Aren't you glad you come to see me? Getting all kinds of information ahead of the news, aren't you? All right, so that is the defense for Platner. You can't remove him, it's the will of the people. Yeah, but we didn't know back then. So doesn't matter, it was the will of the people. He was voted per the law. So it could be over, or it's going to be very, very difficult for the state of Maine. The only thing they could do is that he would lose the endorsement of the Democratic Party, or, you know, there is the Democratic Party may have their own rules, but it's going to be very difficult to remove him based on these Akashic records, because the Knight of Pentacles, the house of opposition to him, is heavy-footed. This is heavy foot, right? It's the law, it's that heavy foot of trying to get things going. It's the Clydesdale. It goes nowhere. The hope and fear that he will have to leave everything, and that he will lose everything in shame. Like I said, this is an aggressive individual that may not be okay with that. And his final outcome at this time is service to humanity. We'll say it was true and I did make my mistakes in the past. Now I'm going to correct those mistakes by serving the people of Maine. There is a possibility he does not leave, he stays, and he still wins in Maine. The King of Cups is in his cups. Positive aspects, a lover, not a fighter. Negative aspects, he is literally in his cups. Could be a drinker. And he is over the issue of the court. Maine, Six of Swords. trying to lead the people to smoother waters, hope and fear, 10 of cups, and then the final outcome is peace in the garden for him at this time and service to others. Look, if the guy drops out, I'd be surprised because, look, I'm open, but right now it looks like he's going to press through. It's on full throttle. The money has already gotten to him. The check cleared. And he is going to do everything he can to win over the will of the people of Maine. And because it was the will of the people and they voted for him to be in this situation, it's going to be difficult to expel him. That is what the cards are saying. And I have to be quite honest with you. All right, we're going to go ahead and throw to see what the future is. Does Troy Jackson usurp, upseat, how do you say it? Platner, let's take a look at whether or not Troy Jackson, the Maine Senate president, is going to take over. Endorsed by Bernie Sanders. Troy Jackson. Troy Jackson is an intellectual. Troy Jackson is a scholar. Troy Jackson is well respected. This is what I know based on the Akashic field. We have the High Priestess, the Wise One, the one who knows the hidden things. We also have the House of Opposition. They're definitely Maine Democrats are talking to him. It's not enough, though. If the law is on this, if Maine law is on the side of, because of revenge tactics. If the will of the people is one thing, but you want to use your power in government to exact revenge against somebody, then you don't have a case. If he has not been formally charged, you don't have a case. You have no case. There's no legal, he hasn't been arrested and charged with a crime, right? So even though the Democratic Party appears to like this candidate, it's going to be very, very difficult. However, Six of Wands moves in as his final outcome. His hope and fear is the Queen of Cups, which is Gordon Platner. So he would win if he gets chosen, but it's going to be difficult. Platner is not going to step. It's looking really hard. However, Troy Jackson has a future in Maine politics. Even if he has to let it go this time around, you know, they could come and speak with him in the future. So Troy Platner has a future in Maine politics, even if he doesn't take it this time around. All right, Shenna Bellows was the other person. She is the Secretary of State gubernatorial candidate. She's a strong progressive. She was the one that called for Platner to step down. She is seen as a viable contender with name recognition and recent campaign infrastructure. Shenna Bellows. Let's take a look. I was hoping Shenna Bellows. But again, there's some kind of transformative career over here. Confusion. She doesn't have backing. She doesn't have. She's not set up. She doesn't have the economic support also. It stands in the House of Opposition. She's very strong and her life is transformative. But to be honest with you, I don't know if she even has a future in politics. She could be going in another direction. All right, you guys, thank you so much for listening to this quick video on the future of Graham Platner. If you're trying to get in for a reading with me, please reach out to me. You can book a phone reading through Booksy. That information is in the description of this video. All right, we're out of here. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. We'll see you next time, everyone. Bye.